we've got to talk about Chelsea and West Ham. You're at home. You've got to fancy yourself on this one. Chelsea have been a little bit poor of late, you know what I mean? Like, maybe still on the lash from the World Cup. What are we thinking on this game? Do you know what? I can't call this. I don't know how.
Really?
Spurs boys, I cannot call this one.
I'm sure Nicky's surprised about that. I'm sure Nicky can call it.
I am.
You'll call it for me, to be honest.
Shocked that you should say that, because I'm going to be honest. I'm predicting an absolute cricket score, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going on at my football club at the moment. You know, everything's bad at the moment at the football club, and there's no positivity around. And I'm going to be honest with you, the last thing we need is probably the best midfield in the Premier League running over us over and over again. We got absolutely steamrolled last week by, I'm not going to say a poor Sunderland side, because I don't think they was poor at all, but a newly promoted Sunderland side that you'd think to yourself, you know, we should have enough. We should have enough Premier League experience to win the first game. We got absolutely schooled. We don't attack. We're slow in midfield. We're slow in defence. Our attack is so disjointed from the front three. Chelsea must be licking their lips at the thought of coming to West Ham this week, because it's not good here at the moment, and we've just let Alvarez go on loan, which is, I think, has got to be one of the worst decisions this week. That's how bad it is at West Ham at the moment. Yeah.
There's a lot of bad decisions happening each week. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, mate. Absolutely.
I think the story of West Ham for the last 2 years, to be honest. You know, definitely of a yo-yo club, like little highs and then bigger lows straight after. I mean, obviously, I respect what you're saying, but I keep thinking about that game last season when we beat you guys 2-1, and we beat you guys from like a fluke Cole Palmer goal, and like an own goal then? No, an own goal was the fluke Cole Palmer, and like Pedro Neto from a rebound. We had 3 shots on target, only scored 2 goals, and it was quite a lucky win. We got over you guys. I know what you're saying, because Sunderland walloped you guys, but you're not going to play how you did against Sunderland with all that ball possession against us. You want to play without the ball. And one thing that Crystal Palace showed us is that teams that use fire at the back, teams that defend, teams that want to, shut down the spaces and make it hard for us between the lines, we're still not perfect when it comes to finding solutions against defensive teams. Like, we still have a bit of work to do. And I think Crystal Palace reminded us. So I think we're going to beat West Ham tomorrow. But I'm not expecting it to be like a thrashing, to be honest. I think it could be like 1-0, 2-0 type of result at the moment.
I think you're giving us too much credit.
But come on, you guys last season, you defended quite well, and we didn't create any shots against you.
But that's last season. This is this season, and we didn't defend well at all. We cannot defend. We've got a midfield that gets rolled through. The players that we've got are a lot less from last season. Listen, you know your club more than I do, and I know my club. But I even from last season, I think it's chalk and cheese. I can't see where the results are going to come from. I'm looking at our first 6-7 fixtures, and I can't see a win. I can't even see a draw. I think we're quite comfortably going to get fresh tomorrow.
Nick,
I think we need it, to be honest.
No one needs that.
I listened to Graham Potter's interview today, done an interview with Sky, and he was very upbeat, I thought, I thought he was quite honest and open with what he said. And if I was a West Ham fan, I thought, I would, he's sort of masking it very, very well if that's the case. You know what I mean? I don't think you're as bad as what you think they are. I think that Sunderland can happen. I don't think you expect a 3-0 defeat, but I surely there's got to be some sort of response, isn't there? Surely.
You'd think so. And I know Potter is upbeat, and I know that he says the right things. But listen, the proof is in the pudding. We can all sit here, we can all make predictions, we can all, take, what happened last week and what's gone on during the weeks, and have that as, what you think is going to be gospel. But look, the proof is in the pudding. But I'm going to tell you now, if we come out the back of coming out of London Stadium tomorrow and they haven't beaten us 5-0, I will be very surprised.
I'd be just as surprised if it's 5-0. Yeah, I'd take it, but I don't see it happening. I think you're right to feel the way you're feeling about West Ham, but I just know we're going to be playing against a defensive team tomorrow, and I think if you're Graham Potter, after you got beat by Sunderland, you're thinking, we can't lose the home fans this season. They're too important to lose, and I think the only way to keep the respect up and the energy up is to try and be a difficult team to play against. And I mean, let's see it like this: that 3-0 thrashing by Sunderland was the biggest defeat by Graham Potter since he's taken over. I mean, he's not taking over the easiest circumstances. That's not the squad he wants. That's not the players he wants. The fact the guys
he's not getting the players he wants. We're letting people go, and we're not bringing anyone in. That's the worrying thing.
Yeah, it's been very difficult. All the guys you're going for, they want to go to other clubs. It's not looking great, but I'm not expecting a thrashing tomorrow. I think it'd be a bit tired, to be fair.
If Chelsea were not to win, say if you was to draw against West Ham or perish to fall to lose from a Chelsea point of view, would you be disappointed with that? Or do you feel that the confidence is that, listen, the game against Crystal Palace could have gone either way, if I'll be honest. I think Chelsea probably were the better team and could have nicked it at the end. But if you was to go to West Ham, it's never the easiest place to go to, as we can all vouch for. It's not an easy place to go to. But what is the overall feeling if it wasn't to go well? Do you actually think that you're going to get the 3 points?
I feel confident we'll get the 3 points. It just won't be an easy 3 points that we bag. Obviously, if we were to lose, it'll be a lot of question marks on what's going on right now, because I feel like, again, I'm a Chelsea fan. The type of teams we've always struggled against for the last few years, and especially in the Maresca, are teams that defend, teams that use 5 at the back and then have 3 in midfield or 4 midfield. We got no space for Palmer or Crow to play in. And like when Palace got the result against us, that's what they was doing, 5-4-1. No space for Palmer. It's quietest game in the last few months. No space for Enzo Fernandez.
But Nini, you've had Potter as a manager. You know he's not a defensive manager.
But I mean, since he's gone to West Ham, he's adapted a little bit. And you know what? I'm actually one of the only rare Chelsea fans that is a bit nice to Graham Potter, because I think he came to the club at the complete wrong time when there was an absolute shitstorm and no one knew what was going on. So I can't use that against him. But like I said, that Palace result reminded the entire fan base that we're not perfect yet. Like we're a lot more promising, but we're just not perfect yet.
But Nini, the way I look at this game, you say that West Ham need a reaction. I think Chelsea need a reaction in this game as well, drawing their first game 100%. At home this season. And I think 100%. You're going to see a Chelsea reaction. I think it might be a bit pensive and cagey for the opening minutes, but I think once Chelsea get that first goal, I really think the floodgates could open.
But that's
I really think once you get it, you hear the moans and the groans around the stadium. Confidence is at like a massive blow at West Ham at this moment in time. So I think once one goal goes in, I really think it could be 1, 2.
I'll tell you lot this. I don't have the exact number on the top of my head, but statistically, most of the goals we've scored have come in the second half. So it might come, but it takes a long time. Again, like I keep saying, it's just teams that defend. Don't matter who you are, what your form is, what division you're in. We find it a bit hard breaking these teams down because it's a different game you're playing. You give us space, we'll destroy you. But the moment you disrupt us, stop us from playing, stop the players combining. You draw up Pedro, like one shot off target, passes, like no passes to Palmer, no passes to no one. He's by himself. Palmer, quietest game. Like, you got to respect everyone in the Premier League. Like, no matter what the form's saying, what's going on, this is a league where the moment you start getting cocky, you get punished straight. So I think us Chelsea fans right now is just keeping things a bit humble. Yeah, we can say we're world champions. We love saying that, by the way. But we still know that there's still a process that we need to get to the end of, basically.
And it's Friday night under the lights. It's a London derby, and you got to remember what. As much as Chelsea's result was bad on the opening game, it's obviously not a good result. West Ham were embarrassed. That's 3-0 away at Sunderland. That's a real embarrassment, and the players will know that. You've already seen Bowen talk about, how that result was unacceptable. I don't think you've probably seen. I don't know. I haven't been looking at a lot of Chelsea players. I don't think they're talking about a massively embarrassing result drawing to Palace. They're probably saying it's disappointing. We should have won. They're probably.
How many of those players are at West Ham though that want to be stand up and be counted for?
I think. I'm just saying. I still think Chelsea are going to win. I just think when it comes to the game, I think West Ham are going to have to be up for it. The crowd are going to get behind them. It's a massive London derby early in the season under the lights. I think you'll see a massive reaction from West Ham because I think they can't afford to allow that result and performance against Sunderland to rest for too long. If they get absolutely battered again, I think there's going to be protests. They know the consequences of all that. I think they're going to try their best to put on as good a performance as possible. And I do think that they're going to make it difficult for Chelsea. I really believe that. I think it's going to be a difficult game. I don't think it's going to be a rollover. I think West Ham are going to be up for it.
Yeah, Nick, do you think they're going to play like that, Nick? Do you think they're going to... How are West Ham going to play this? At home, big crowd, you know what I mean?
They're going to play exactly...
It's difficult to speak because, I've only got last week to compare against, but I think we're going to get a lot of the same. It's going to be a lot of huff puff, but no blowing your house down. You know what I mean? It's I can't see it there. I look at the result last week, then I look at our bench. We was looking at it today on West Ham Fan TV, and we named our bench what our bench will be if we played the same team against Chelsea. And there's not a player on there that I would say, yes, bring him in and he's going to change it completely. There's not one player, not one. Yeah. The starting 11.
Like a championship bench, Nicky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like a championship
Yeah, absolutely. And it's frightening because we
haven't a League One bench, to be honest.
We haven't got the signings in that we need. We've got rid of midfielders. We're very light midfield. When we ended last season, the first thing we said, and we ended the season with the same midfield. It's slow, it's lethargic, it can't move, it doesn't work. And we're saying we're going into next season, we'll never see this midfield again. And we've started exactly the same. We're letting midfielders go, and we've got no plan as to who to put in. And I've got to say this, I can see a comment by Good Beats in there saying West Ham fans deserved all they're getting. They wanted a new manager. They got it. Alvarez was magnificent playing for his country back in the summer. Fans want quick fix. Listen, I said Alvarez should be playing, and I said that. I don't know where you've got the notion that nobody wanted Alvarez to play. Alvarez was absolutely magnificent. He can play in two positions, and they're two positions where we're really struggling at the moment. Yes, we wanted a new manager, but you never want worse for your team. That's what I would say. You never want to go worse. You know what I mean? Like, we won the cup, yes, absolutely. And they said, "Oh, you let him go. You let him go." Would Tottenham fans be saying they shouldn't have let Ange go right now? No, because you're in a better place. You know what I mean? And that's where you have to go. You have to go to a better place, and we haven't gone to a better place. So, I think that's very disingenuous what they're saying. And it isn't like you look at Moyes over at Everton and he's pulling up any trees. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to, I think he's going to struggle over there as well. So, listen, I don't know what the future holds for West Ham. Somebody said earlier on, are they in a relegation fight? I would say at this moment in time, yes. Yes, we are.
I think going back to what you saying about the game in midfield, as much as I think West Ham will be up for it, I think what you said is key. That midfield is as much how you can be however up for it you like. That midfield is just not going to be up for it, against Chelsea.
If you can't catch what's in front of you, I can't see how you progress.
Because I look at your backline, look at your front line. I'm not saying it's the best, but I'm saying it's not like it's not terrible. You got some good players in there.
It's not terrible.
It's a slow team, though, isn't it? They're just full of slow.
It's the midfield. That midfield is slow. He got overrun by Sunderland. And I'm looking at Caicedo, looking at midfield. He's going to be licking his lips, thinking.
Well, I mean, there's no one up front as well. You know what I mean? There's no Somerville, even that Guilherme kids. I mean, it could be decent seasons. They have a bit of fitness, but There's no options right now. And I think West Ham's season fully depends on the business they get done before the window closes. If they're just humble and stop going for ambitious targets, they might be able to have enough just to stay up and then rebuild again next season. But they're getting turned down left, right, and center right now. And I feel like they've wasted a lot of their own time in this window at the moment.
What's the Chelsea fans do on their window? Oh, go on, Ben.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happened at West Ham, because you're looking at the last couple of windows, the caliber of player that they were bringing in. Everyone's like, wow, how West Ham getting all these players? You know, sorry to mention it, but the Kudises, the Somervilles, the Paquetas, you know, all these kind of players, that caliber, Todibo. And we're all looking at it from the outside like, oh, well, West Ham mean business here. They're doing serious business. What the hell's happened? I don't understand.
Isn't Mark Noble? He's your sporting director now, isn't it? Noble. He replaced the German guy. What, right?
Every single one of them has failed, and we haven't got anything. You know, the sporting director that was in signing them, he's been let go now. And every single one of them, there's not one player that they've brought in that you would turn around and go, yeah, they've absolutely changed the way we play, or changed our fortunes. You know what I mean? It's all very, bog standard and that. And they've spent a lot of money, and the club have got a bit tetchy, and they've said, no more. We're not signing that player anymore. Get rid of all of them. Get the money back.
From what I was reading to, I think during the time you had that former director and then Lopetegui and stuff, there was like always these clashes over who the right targets should be.
Yeah.
Lopetegui got his way a few times, like when he signed that Rodriguez guy, Guido Rodriguez. But it's just like, he signed he was the wrong guy to win the power battle in the end. Got a lot of the wrong players, which messed up things for the other good players, because like when I know you stick it on Kudus and stuff like that. But I mean, this guy, I'm sure Spurs fans are seeing it firsthand, just how incredible he is. Sometimes when the right players are at the wrong club, you're not going to get anything more from them. You know what I mean? If it was a bit different with like a midfield around him, that like proper fullbacks around him, that's how you go from like here to there, And I feel like this is West Ham's issue all the times. It's always these power battles, and the wrong person always wins them.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Predictions, boys?
Predictions. Oh,
I'll go first. I'm saying 2-0. I'm sticking with that.
2-0.
Nicky?
4-0.
4-0.
Hey, I'll take it. I hope so.
Bloody hell. I'm going 3-0. I do think it's going to be a bit of a cagey one to begin with. But like I said before, one goal for Chelsea goes in. I think the floodgate's going to open here. So, yeah, I'm going 3-0.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 Chelsea. Closer one.
Yeah, I've got that 2-1 Chelsea as well. So I think it's going to be a lot closer than what it is. I just think that Chelsea are a little bit nervous, but I think West Ham have got to produce something. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if they don't. It could be a long, hard season for them if they don't win. I'm not saying they're going to win this game, but give the fans something to believe in. Like that.
They've got to. There we go.
Wow.
Right.
Nicky, you're making me feel sorry for West Ham a little bit here.
Try and cheer you up a little bit. Try and cheer you up.
They would never feel the same, Ben, in the same position.
I know.
It's a Saturday, because it's a massive game Saturday, boys. Massive game. I've got Manchester City in me William Hill last man standing.
Oh, you're confident. You're confident.
No, it's that I don't really want Manchester City to win any games, but I want them to win 2 games a season, and this is one of them. So that's why.
Have you not seen our record at the Etihad?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, it's been fantastic. And that's what I'm saying. It's just, you know what I mean? If any one team has got it over Man City, it's Tottenham. 4-0 last season.
Yeah.
Went under the radar, that did, like, you know what I mean? Maybe the 22 defeats did, but that is an unbelievable result to go there and win 4. And with that sort of record, you've surely got to fancy yourselves a little bit on Saturday, haven't you?
I fancy us more than I probably should at this moment in time. I look at Man City first game week of the season. I think they were the most impressive team out of anyone in the Premier League. They mean business. Pep Guardiola's got a new plan. He's got new players that he's brought in that seem to fit like a glove. They've got players to come back, Rodri to come back, Foden to come back, and Foden's got to have a much better season than last year. if he even wants to get back into that England side, never mind get back in being one of the best players in the Premier League. So, look, it's going to be a really tough test. I think the way that we set up against PSG and the way we fought against PSG, and we were compact, we were tight, we were hard to beat. If we go to Man City with that kind of mentality and that kind of shape, I think we can beat him, and I think we can hit him on the transition and get a goal and stifle them. But I just feel like with this new sense of energy from Man City, I just think they're going to nick it on the day. But I think it's going to be a really tight game.
Yeah, I think I give ourselves a fighting chance. I think we've had 2 examples of playing a team like City going into it. We had the PSG example, which we've done very well. We changed our system to a back 5, and obviously we should have won that game, and that was very impressive. But there's a few caveats. PSG were only training for a week. How fresh were they? All those different things. Obviously, we played Bayern Munich as well in a friendly just a week before. And we got absolutely trounced 4-0, and that was
Different
obviously
system, different system.
It was a different system, yeah, but that's also another example of playing a team like Man City. And obviously, we went for a back 4 that day, and we got absolutely trounced, and we barely even created an opportunity. So I think going into this game, obviously, he's going to take that PSG example. I do think Man City will probably be a lot fresher than PSG were, which is probably going to lead to them nicking it on the day. But I think with our set piece threat, with transition threats like Kudus, I think we give ourselves a chance. And I think Frank's a very smart manager. Even when he was a Brentford manager, he always went to the Etihad and gave him a game. He even won up there once, even as Brentford manager. So I think he'll know how to play against them. I just feel like even in that PSG game, as much as obviously we should have won and we created chances for set pieces, still open play was there enough being created, and do we need more in this game than what we did against PSG to win? And I get a feeling maybe we do, maybe we might, and that's what kind of worries me. That's kind of maybe what might cost us in this game. Is that going to be enough, in my opinion? So I feel like Man City will probably just about squeeze it. I think I can see it being an entertaining game. I can see us hurting them the counter and then them using their quality and opening us up and scoring. So I think it could be an entertaining game, but I think Man City are just going to scrape it, unfortunately.
Nick, what's your thoughts on this one?
I think Man City are going to open Spurs up like a can of beans.
You watched the PSG game?
No, I watched it. PSG hadn't played a game for 4 weeks, so I watched it.
What's your score prediction, Nicky?
Right, let's have predictions then. Come on, Nick, you start us off.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0.
And that was me thinking I was feeling sorry for him before. I hope it's 6-0.
Well, not for Tottenham.
It could well be 6-0, Ben. Don't worry about that, mate. I'm not arguing against that fact. I'm just going to say I was very impressed by Man City opening day of the season.
Yeah.
I think they've got the quality, and sometimes I think you've got Romeo in the chat here. He's getting a little bit excited. If we press them, they won't be able to handle it. I think this is a Man City that are wounded from last season, and I think they're going to find a way to beat a lot of teams this year. I really do. I don't think they're going to be the mugs that they were last year. So,
Nicky,
I'm not trying to be salty. And listen, there's a competition up here, and if I thought that Spurs would win the game, I would say Spurs would win the game. But I just think they get an early goal, and I just think they control the game. So I'm just going to say, I think they open them up like a tin of beans, and they pour them all over the floor, and it's 3-0.
I'd like to think that it would be, Nick, but I think it's going to be a little bit more cagey than that, if I'll be honest. I honestly think that I know what you're saying, guys, about Man City last week against Wolves, but I'm not too sure Wolves are going to be anywhere near. I think they're going to be a relegation team this season. I do, so this is a test for Manchester City. There's a lot of people in the chat going, "Oh, this Man City are going to win it" and all that. I'd imagine there's a lot of Spurs fans because they're hoping that the other team from North London don't win it, or the old Woolwich don't win it. So but I do think it'll be a tough game. I think that Spurs will cause a few problems as well, and I think that at the end of the day, Tottenham will give it a good go. But I think City because of home advantage, 2-1 to City. But it's a tough one to call this.
Yeah. Sim?
I'm going 3-2 to City. I think we'll hurt them on the counter. We'll hurt them set pieces. It's going to be a dogged performance, but you're looking at the City's quality. You're looking at their bench, who they can bring on. I can see them hurting us late on as well. I just don't think, as much as I'm seeing good defensive solidity, I'm still as well, when we come up against real quality, look, at the end of the day, I know we shut out PSG for large parts, but we did concede 2 at the end. Bayern, we conceded 4. So there's still some stuff to work on, I think, in my opinion, defensively. So I'm going 3-2 to Man City, unfortunately.
Yeah. I'm also going for a City win, but I think it's going to be tight like you boys. I'm going for 1-0 to Manchester City. I feel like Spurs' attacking pattern of play, transitional play, isn't there as of yet. I think our defensive shape is looking good and really promising on the back of, last season, losing 22 games and conceding God knows how many goals last season. I think defensive shape is looking so much better with 3 at the back, Romero, Van de Ven and Danso. I think we're going to hold them out and I think we'll restrict them quite a bit. But I do think eventually quality will probably shine through. Haaland's looking back at it. They've got such quality in that midfield as well, with Tijani, Reinders, Cherki to come on. So yeah, they're going to break us down at some point. So I'm just going to go 1-0 and hope that Sim's going up there. 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday.
Yeah, I know. 6:30. I'm leaving here on the coach. All right, well, Lee, it's your turn now. 5:30 on the Saturday.
5:30 on a Saturday. Not too bad a kickoff for 5:30.
The question is, Lee, is he making his debut on Saturday?
Who's that?
You know who. I'm not going to say.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
do you know what? I'm going to say this now. I didn't think he'd be making his day. I thought he might be at the game, but not. But I think he's going to be in the squad now that he's not played today. I think he'll have the medical and everything to be sorted out tomorrow, and he could actually be on the bench for this game.
He's got to be signed by midday tomorrow.
Midday tomorrow. So, if they've done the medical and all that, I could see possibly it happening. If not, he'll be available for Liverpool. The good thing is, from an Arsenal point of view, is that he's not been training alone and all that. He's been training and playing, so he's going to be match fit. He's going to be ready. It's just linking in with the players and things like that. So if they could get him on the bench tomorrow, I think that would be on Saturday would be a good thing. But I don't think it's the end of the world. So
Lee, is this it though? No more excuses for Arteta. This signing, is that it now? That's his last excuse done. He has to now win the league. Now you're bringing someone like Eze through the door.
Yeah, listen, I think for one thing you got to say is, which has been forgotten about this, we've just lost Havertz at this moment in time. I don't know how long that's going to be. So hopefully that's not going to be too long. You know what I mean?
They're a few weeks now. That's what the last I read.
Well, I heard in it's maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months. No, but I think we was all fearing that it would be long term, and that would be a big worry because he's had a long term injury before that. No excuses. This is it now. We've got a good chance of winning the league. I think if you look back at last season, without a forward, we still ended up second and getting into the Champions League semi-final. Now you've got that forward. Now you've got that little bit more creativity. Yeah, let's see. Have all the Spurs fans putting the pressure on, you know what I mean? Because lovely, you know what I mean, and more so than ever, And at the end of it, I think that at this moment in time, I don't think there's a favourite now. I think with the Eze transfer, I think that Liverpool have strengthened very, very well in departments there, but they've still got a few little question marks over their defence. I think there's still going to be question marks.
If they got Isaac, does that change?
But they have not got him at the moment.
No.
So if they do, I think that could change it a little bit. I don't really know what's going to happen with it. I'm really looking forward to Monday night football, by the way. Newcastle, one of the most physical sides going. I'm expecting Liverpool to get a right good kicking up there, you know what I mean? So I think that is, if that doesn't go off up there, I'll be very disappointed. I'll be very disappointed. I think that is going to be very, very fiery. So we'll see what happens in that. And I'm only just talking what's going on in the director's box. I don't know about what's going to go on the pitch. You know what I mean? So I expect fisticuffs on the pitch. But yeah, so yeah, like Romeo, like, you know, Arteta has already failed 3 seasons. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think failing to get challenging is a failure. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think it is. Like, I think last
would
season,
it be this season? Would it be a failure if you don't win the league this season?
Depends what Liverpool do. I think, like, listen, I actually go into this season now feeling that if Arsenal don't win it, it's down to the manager. I think that there's been other things going on and whatever. Like, you know, I honestly, you know, think at the end of the day, that Romeo, you know what it's like to fail win the league. Every time you fucking turn up in it, you don't win it. You know what I mean? So, am I taking crap off the Spurs fans about league?
We're European champions.
Yeah,
come on.
You know what I mean?
Hey, can I ask you this? Did you see the PFA awards this week?
No, don't agree with it. But go on.
So you've got the I don't know if you two boys see this as well. You've got the part where Declan Rice is speaking about being named in the team of the year, and he starts talking about finishing second, and you get this little moment where Van Dijk and Salah looked at each other and they sort of started chuckling. Do you think that could be a bit of a kick up the arse to someone like Declan? Because I know Declan very well, and Declan's a very competitive man. And, you know, Declan ain't going to take things like that, but they start chuckling at him at he's finishing second. Could that be sort of like a bit of like, look, they're laughing at us here, boys.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Nick, that has got to be the motivation of it all. Like every club goes round singing second, LA. You know what I mean? You know, even teams like Man United that come 15th last season are singing that. Like, so of course it's a motivation. Like, you know, these players have got to get them. I think Arsenal got the best squad now that I have probably since we won the league in 2004, like as a squad. You know what I mean? Like the depth of it all. Like, you know, we was looking at it last season. We had 4 kids on the bench from January to May that never played for Arsenal. They were just bench fillers. You know, we've got players at the moment, if everybody's fit, that we'd have to leave off the bench. So there's no excuses about squads now. Like, you know what I mean? I think we have been a little bit thin on squad. You know what I mean? As you guys up the top will get to find out, the Champions League's a different ball game to what it has been in the past. You know what I mean? There's even been times when you could rest some a couple of players in the Champions League because you're already guaranteed a second place or qualifying for the next stage. This time around, you've got to play every game matters to the end, like, you know what I mean, for whatever reason. So there's a lot more games and a lot more tougher. So in saying that, I would say Arsenal have gone through that for 1 year, like the new format and all that. So there should be a little bit more experience of how that's going to go. You know, uncharted territory for everybody last season. So we're going to know what that's about. I don't think there's any excuses for Arsenal next season. Like, you know, if Liverpool beat us, that's because they're the better team, or Manchester City, that's, you know what I mean, like, or Chelsea, or whoever else is challenging, like, you know. But I feel confident going into this season. If Gyökeres does the business, I think we've got a more than good chance of winning it, like, you know. And I think it does come down to, you know, I mean, does come down to Arteta at the end of the day. I think that, you know, has he got it to get us over the line, like, you know, and I think that will be the pressure. You know, I was on Sky today and that was the first thing they said is Arteta under pressure now, like, you know.
And in your best team, now you've got Eze, obviously everyone's all happy you've got Eze, but where is he playing in your best team? Is he playing off the left? Because he's not really a left winger anymore.
Like, yeah, I think they play off the left. I think Arsenal just change it up a little bit. I think with him just coming in off of the left, look, you know, why Havertz is out, it means that Martinelli will back up Gyökeres and play a few games down the middle. That's what I see, particularly, like, you know, and he gives us a different, you know, if Gyökeres comes off, Havertz comes on, it's a little bit the same, like, in the way we play, but now all of a sudden we can hit on the counter attack if we've got Martinelli there, like, you know. And I think that he will come off the left and just play in that role. And I think, guys, when you play, you know what you know what it's like. I'm pretty sure you've had it at Tottenham on a few occasions. I'm sure you have. That you teams come in there and defend, and you've got to try and break them down and all that. I think you need more than just one player that's going to be able to open them up. You need it from all over the park, not just in those wide areas. Even fullbacks play a part of coming into it and all that, like, you know. So we're gonna, and we face that, and we haven't done it very, very well. So I think that there will be. I think that he will come in off the left. But I think there will be games, horses for courses. Sometimes we might have to play two in there, two number 10s or whatever, and maybe two wide players. I don't know, but what it does give us is a lot more options. I know, like against PSG, we was 1-0 down at the end of it. And you're looking around on but who's going to come on? And I know we had a few injuries and all that. We had nothing. I think when he looks over now, you've got 3 or 4 brilliant options in there, like, you know. So and I think even with Trossard's not. I know we've probably all had these at our football club that you know, he's not the best starter, but when he comes on, he does things, like, you know what I mean. Like he's an impact player. So listen, I think that, you know, this for me is a big game for us because it's one of those games that's been sticky for us and we've struggled. This is where Leeds, what I see the other night, was tough. So we're going to have to be right at it and try and get the win. And I don't see it being a convincing win, if I'll be honest, guys. I think it's going to be a tough one because they're going to sit in and make it very, very hard for us. But we've got to find a way of breaking that down.
Score predictions?
2-0 to the Arsenal.
2-0. Sim?
I'm going. Go on, Nicky.
No, I've got the same. I've got Arsenal in the final one standing this week. So yeah, I said 2-0. 2-0 the same.
I'm going 3-0.
Ooh.
3-0. I think there's going to be a bit of a carnival atmosphere, I feel, at the Emirates this weekend because of what's happened, unfortunately. However painful it is, that's going to be reality. And I think you'll use that. So I'm going 3-0.
Yeah, look, I think Leeds going to get brought back down to earth. Great 3 points in their opening game against Everton. But yeah, I'm going 2-0 as well. I don't think it's going to be the greatest game of football as.
No, nor do I, Sim. Ben, sorry, I think as well. I don't think it's going to. I get what Ben's saying there, like, you know what I mean. Sim's saying it's going to be like a good atmosphere, and of course they've got the tunnel off now, so that's going to make it even more.
Oh, Arteta's made the world of difference getting that tunnel off. That unbelievably library-esque atmosphere coming out of the.
And listen, like so the most important thing about it was going to keep, you know. Forget about Eze. Forget it. They've got decent beer back at the Emirates now, like, you know what I mean. Yeah. So